Jane out.
And so it looks like we have two halves of a planet, one that was warm and wet, and another in the last 2 billion years where very little has changed and erosion rates have been extremely low. We're honing in on the Rover Sojourner and the rock Yogi, and you can see the small instrument, the alpha proton-xray spectrometer, placed up against that rock. Also extremely dusty wheels, which we think may be electrostatically charged materials. The rear ramp that we drove down with the rover, and an extremely rocky plain. You see the place where the rover had been, looking out towards the rock garden, the forward ramp, which did not deploy to the surface, thereby forcing us to use the rear ramp.
The thing when you look at Mars that you notice first is this bright red dust that seems to be everywhere. You saw it at the Viking lander sites, you saw it at the Pathfinder sites. The color of this dust from the Pathfinder camera indicates that it's the same, basically, as the bright red soils in a lot of regions on Mars, including both of the Viking lander sites.
In this next opportunity to send spacecraft to Mars, we also have an orbiter and a lander that we're going to send to the planet. The orbiter, the Mars Climate Orbiter, will be launched in December of this year, followed a few weeks later by the launch of the Mars Polar Lander. It's an artist's concept of what the orbiter will look like once it is finished aerobraking a year from this fall. Here you see us descending towards the South Polar regions in this animation, and the parachute has come out and is now braking the spacecraft as it goes to the surface. The heat shield falls away. We may get a shot of that with our descent imaging camera, which will take a series of still photographs that will be returned after landing. The legs come out. We don't use the Pathfinder airbags. They were too heavy for our particular spacecraft, and we had confidence from the Viking heritage that this could be done. The radar, which is in the center of the spacecraft here, will soon pick up where the surface is when the spacecraft is a couple kilometers above. It then controls the thrusters, and the rocket descends to the surface in a powered descent.